Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy, Sirr of the 2020 Podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC. And before you listen to this episode, I just got to let you know, I need you to stop what you're doing. Go to blkrenaissance.com, and I need you to shop for the culture. That's right. Anytime you use the promo code LLC20 at Black Renaissance Clothing's website, you will get 20% off your order. Off rip, no questions asked. So do me a favor and do it for the culture. Peace.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sade with Black on Black Rhymes. Step to the mic.
Mic check.
People always ask me where I get my confidence from, and I get it from inside. It's an inside thing, y'all. And when it comes to beautiful skin, I rock with Blendia by India, where her motto is, be confident in your skin. She has a variety of naturally made soaps to keep you smelling good, hair products for long, luscious, healthy hair, and even beard products for men. You know, we got to keep those struggle beards away. So visit blendiabyindia.com and use promo 2020skin to get 10% off your order. Thank you, Blendia by India, for being a sponsor of the 2020 Podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC.
Hey, this is Butter So Fly of Powerlines Poetry, here to let you know anytime I feel good, I have to look good, so you have to listen to me. Make sure you go to gurudesigns.com, use a 3 instead of an E. The website is great, so you can get something for yourself, and then she makes custom clothes for men too. And guess what? I got a promo code for you. Use 20/20 and it'll get you 15% off of any order $25 or more. You can't beat that. Go to gurudesigns.com.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
Okay, we lit it just like a fuse, so no need to pick and choose. Welcome to 2020, where we do more than interviews. The hottest be coming through, jumping knowledge on all of you. Get a bigger the front of you with the truth that they offer you. Yeah, hands up, we doing it for the culture. To give artists and businesses more exposure. Keeping it real and stay silent just like a boulder. It's about to go all the way down, can't get no lower. Chasing my dreams, know that they get no slower. But if I stay running, I promise they getting closer. Moreover, success my older. And if you're sleeping on me, I'm waking them up like Folgers. I told you, coming from the land with the tide roll. Well, we'll be on a whole different vibe though. We like to ride slow and keep our windows tinted so you really can see us like Stevie Wonder waking up with his eyes closed. Yeah, got the kind of flow that rock the boat. On my 16s of pounds of dough. And if you figure you can hang with me on the mic, then grab some rope. Matter of fact, better grab some hope. While you at it, we keep it live, it's time to tune in. Turn up the sound on what you're using. It goes so hard, I think it's bruising. The show is 2020, no need to zoom in. Yeah.
Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy, Sirr of the 2020 Podcast, LLC. Please say the LLC. And today I have a special guest, Miss Tamera of Vegan Soul Sisters. How you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, Tamera, before we even get started, let me say thank you for taking time out your day to do this interview.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Awesome. Now, to those listening, Tamera and I have been in contact via one of those new platforms that those young folks be on all the time called TikTok.
TikTok.
Stumbled across your page and I was enamored with how nice you were, how fun your page was. And I also noticed that you were an entrepreneur. Now,
I am.
With this podcast, we do love to highlight those in our community that are actually pursuing their dreams. So I reached out, I slid in your DM, and you accepted. So I appreciate you.
You shot your business shot, and I was like, okay, let's do this. So here we are. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Let's do it. So Tamera, if someone was to ask what Vegan Soul Sisters was about, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that Vegan Soul Sisters is a community of women of color who come together to admonish one another, to encourage one another, to help each other make better, holistic decisions for their lives. I would say that Vegan Soul Sisters is about nourishing the whole woman, mind, body, and spirit. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. And how long have your business been active?
So I began in 2018. I have 2 children. Well, I don't know what to call them no more. When they become adults, I mean, they still my kids or whatever, but it just feels, like, but so I have 2 people that I birthed into this world, but they grown as hell. Can I cuss? Oops.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So my son is 26, my daughter is 23. They both have 2 children apiece. My daughter, however, developed congestive heart failure with her first pregnancy. And it was worsened by her second pregnancy. And I'm gonna spare the details of why a person would go into doing it a second time, but that's my baby though. So she developed congestive heart failure. And just a caveat, it's not as uncommon for a pregnant woman to develop congestive heart failure. It's actually quite common. But because of the medical system, and particularly the way women of color are perceived in the medical system, and this isn't to put down any other race of women, because women, period, we all have our issues, right? No matter the color. But I did personally go through this with my own daughter. They just invalidated the things that was going on with her medically after having her first child. And it forced me to have to step up and become Dr. Mom, because I'm looking and I'm like, well, y'all are saying that this is normal. And granted, it's been 115 years since I had my last, but this don't seem normal. Like, just as a woman, this don't seem normal. So I had to advocate for her, and I had to advocate for her hard in many ways. Anyways, I'm a little off track, but not. So when she developed congestive heart failure, she got put on a slew of medications. And I was like, looking at the medications, and I'm like, if congestive heart failure doesn't take her out, the medicines don't take her out, because it's so harsh on the system. And so it was maybe the week that she had surgery, she had a defibrillator implanted into her heart to help in the event that her heart was off rhythm by chance. It would shock it back into rhythm. And at the time, I drove school buses in a unnamed county in Georgia. And they actually called me and fired me the day she got out of surgery. And granted, I had been taking a lot of time off. I had, because she was always in and out of the hospital. But it was just like super poor timing. Am I okay?
Oh no, you're fine.
Okay. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, all right, God, whoever's up there, you got a sense of humor. This is cute. But of course, I had to like mask it all and kind of push it to the side, because I had to be there to support her. She was in pain, literally just out of surgery. So I went home and I started looking up natural ways that she could kind of take care of her heart. And that's when I came across eating whole food plant-based. And so I went and I talked to her and I was like, look, I've watched this documentary. Why don't you watch this? When you get a chance, blah, blah, blah. I really want to do this. So how about this? I'm going to start, and then you come in after me. Let me get my feet wet. And I went on Facebook and I started looking up all these vegan groups, and I joined a bunch. And I was like, there's something missing. Like, I started thinking about my experiences that I was having with the transition. Some of them were female type of experiences that I wanted to talk about with other women. And then some of the experiences were for color folk only. And because there's a difference. There's like
Yes.
the Black vegan is a bit different from the Caucasian vegan. And it's not a horrible thing, it just is what it is. And that was a thing not only that I noticed in venturing into looking into groups, but also that is widely talked about in vegan communities. So I was like, I'm gonna just create a group because I don't see what I'm looking for in these groups. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't look hard. I didn't see it though. So I created a group, and I didn't anticipate more than 200 people, if that. And I looked up 3 months later, and there were over 10,000 women. And I was like, oh, okay, this is a whole thing. I created a logo. It was a total shotgun type situation. Like, I was not anticipating like what happened. I'm still to this day blown. So I created a logo. I created some merchandise, started selling merchandise. About a year or so later, I wrote a book on transitioning the raw way, and I sell that on my website as well. So yeah, that's how that happened.
All right. Oh, wow. You really actually answered the following question I had after that. So I'm gonna move to the next one because that's kind of cool how it started out as something for your daughter to kind of, encourage her to, pursue life. And it blew up into something, for our community. And I'm pretty sure just like, things do happen with health, I'm pretty sure people recognize the genuine, in your motive and flock to it. And I'm sure that's how it blew up. So kudos to you, man. Like creating those safe spaces like that is needed. It's needed because we know the Black woman is the most hated person, period. So being able to create a space where you can promote health, I'm all for it. So that's dope. Kudos to you. So
Thank you.
I'm gonna flip my next question a little bit. So I want to know, what obstacles have you encountered? Having started, some years ago, what encounters have kind of been like a stepping stone, like, some obstacles you've encountered so far?
So if I could be like completely candid, and I will because I do. None of my obstacles had anything to do with business per se. My greatest obstacle in the beginning was, again, I lost my job when she was in surgery, and a month after her surgery, a month after creating my group. But to tell you how, whatever your belief system is, for me, the creator, the I am, for me, did such an amazing thing in that time period. And I was able to see it almost instantaneously. So I'm home. She comes upstairs. We're having a conversation. And we talk for about an hour. She goes downstairs. I'm doing Vegan Soul Sistuh stuff. Her daughter, her oldest, comes upstairs. And I had a loft apartment. And I was like, what are you doing up here? And so I think she was 1 or 2 at the time. And I would have kept her upstairs with me if it weren't for the fact that I saw she had my daughter's phone. So when I saw that, I was like, why do you have Autumn's phone? Go back downstairs, give your mommy her phone. So she starts heading downstairs. And I'm screaming out for Autumn, like, why is your baby upstairs? I'm doing the mama thing. She doesn't respond. I'm like, answer me. So then I finally go down, and the headlights look in her face. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why is, I'm kind of going off, but then I'm looking like, wait, something's wrong. So now I pull her and I set her down at the steps, and she wasn't saying anything. Like she just wasn't responding. So I was like, oh, well, maybe she got shocked by her defibrillator. Long story short, she had a stroke. And I don't know when she had the stroke, because I like the time period that she left my room and I connected with her again. Like, I don't even remember what that time period was. So I don't know how long she'd been out. So she gets to the hospital, gets airlifted to another hospital. I get there because I have to wait for the kids' dad to come and watch them because I have them. So I finally get there. I get into her room, and within 30 minutes of being there, she went from being kind of responsive to not. And her nurse, who's amazing, Miss Rhonda, I will never forget her, says, I think I'm gonna have them scan her again. And she did. She was having another stroke.
Oh, goodness.
So if I had not lost my job, I would not have been home, neither for the first stroke or the second stroke. So she would have had 2 strokes on top of each other at home by herself, and she would not have made that. And I saw that almost instantly. I was like taken aback. Like the thing that I thought was going to crush me, losing my job, losing my source of income, was actually the thing that saved my daughter. So the things that were obstacles for me were more personal. They weren't business. I ended up getting evicted shortly after that. My apartment complex fraudulently signed my papers. I was behind on rent 1 month. So I lost my job. But it's tax time. So I was waiting for my taxes to come. Boom, taxes be here. I'm going to pay this up for a couple months. I'm going to be good while I look for a place or get this business situation, rolling. Well, I know they fraudulently signed it because it was the week that she was in the hospital. I was never there. It wasn't even my signature. So she gets out of the hospital from the stroke. She's been in there a little bit over a week. Excuse me. And I go to Walmart to pick up her medication. She calls me a little bit afterwards. I'm having trouble for whatever reason. She calls me a little bit after and tells me that the sheriff are there. And they're putting our things in the parking lot. So I'm not afforded the opportunity to break down in any of this because I don't want her to stress. She's just had 2 strokes. She got 2 babies. There's just a lot going on. So I had push all this down. But that just made me go harder. That was the time period that I created my merchandise. It was the time period that I created my logo. Paid for my business license. I just dug my heels in. I mean, obviously I had to hurry up and figure it all out. I got my 7 storage, we went and got a room, and it was tough. Those were the obstacles. It was that time period. I'm sure I had something to learn in there. I still ain't sat down long enough to quiet myself long enough to understand what that journey was about. I know it was about something, but from a business perspective, I didn't have any obstacles. I wouldn't allow myself to have an obstacle in that area if something even looks like an obstacle, because everything else on the left side was just way too damn much. I was like, listen, we're going to make this work. And I did. I made it work. And I don't even know that it was a thing that I did, because honestly, I don't even want to take no credit for it because it wasn't anything that I did. People just started coming out of the woodwork like, hey, I see what you're doing. I want to interview you. I want to do a podcast. Hey, I've done at least 4 interviews with Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire on Sirius XM Radio. It was her reaching out to me and my relationship that I developed with her that allowed me to present and participate at the BET Black Women's Expo. It's opened a lot of doors. The one challenge that I did begin to experience happened last year with COVID. I had several wellness events planned. It was called Collard Greens and Cornbread, a wellness experience.
Okay.
It was dope. It was dope. I had some really great people on board for presenting. I had a wonderful venue, and then COVID. And I was like, damn. And I had 3 events planned. I had one in Atlanta. The venue in Atlanta was dope. I had, was planning one in Los Angeles, and I had one planned in Jamaica. Payments already in, flights already going. This is what we doing. So that's the one obstacle, and it took 2 years for that to be a thing. But like just from a business perspective, there really weren't any. It was the COVID thing, and I'm not gonna lie, COVID has kind of knocked me on my heels. I don't know how to recover because I didn't get a chance to do those wellness events, although there was like a big interest in them. It was really going to be a very dope thing, but I'm struggling with the idea of like the virtual thing. I don't really like that a whole lot.
I understand.
So anyway, I just keep talking. You didn't only ask me 3 questions and
No, it's fine. I like peering into the mind of an entrepreneur because although, like with you were saying, you haven't really found the message in what you went through with the eviction quite yet. I think there is, because this interview is going to reach out to people who've been affected by stuff like this. COVID has prevented people from working, or they've had to cancel events they were banking on, and entrepreneurs, that's how a lot of people make their money. So someone is going to hear that, and hearing that you're still here is going to inspire someone still. So a lot of times we look for confirmation in our testimony within ourselves, but a lot of times it has nothing to do with us. It's for the other person. So just something to keep in mind. So
that's good.
Let's move on, because I like where you're thinking, and I like the vibe that you're giving. So I want to know, in a personal standpoint, how do you manage to balance like I guess what it is to run a business, like your work life in a sense, and your personal life? So how do you manage to balance those two?
So the first thing that I needed to do, because of my reason for starting this business, it all ran together for me. And so that was a learning curve. If it would have been like literally anything else, I think I would have had a slightly different understanding, a slightly different experience. But because this was so tied to my daughter's health, it just ran together. So for me, I had to learn to separate the two. And the way that I did that was by removing her from the equation, as weird as that might sound. She was definitely what was the motivating factor. However, one of the things that I'm constantly saying within the group, especially when we have women who come in and they're trying to find a way to transition themselves or transition their families or just start making better health decisions for themselves, is to identify your why. Without a why, you can't achieve anything. Like, you have to have a firmly grounded why. And I had made my why my daughter. She couldn't be my why because one day she was sick, one day she wasn't. One day I liked her, one day I didn't. One day, just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? So she couldn't be my wife, but for like the whole year, she was my wife. And so I was like going back and forth with my interest, honestly, in the whole thing because her life was up and down. So because her life was up and down, it caused my life to be up and down, which then caused my business mind to go up and down. So I had to remove her from the equation because even though she may have been what started it, what pushed me along was the opportunity to bring Black women together in one place and talk about things concerning health and wellness. I do something on Wednesdays called it's a Wednesday event post, super popular, where you can just come in and vent. It ain't got shit to do with veganism, but what it does have to do with is your wellness. It has to do with your wellness. You cannot have complete healing. You cannot be whole, any of those things, unless you are addressing your mind, your body, and your spirit, because they're cohesive, they work together. It is like people who go and get the weight loss surgery. And this isn't, people do what they need to do in the time that they need to do it. So this isn't one of those things. However, and a lot of people who've had the surgery talk about this, you have these physical experiences, you're losing this weight now, but the mental is still stuck at the person who had bad eating habits. And those bad eating habits maybe had to do with emotional stuff or traumas or whatever. So unless you fix those, you're still in your mind the fat person.
Yep. I get
You're
it.
still the unhealthy, you're still that person. So it became like super important for me to make sure that we weren't just addressing nutritional stuff, but that we were addressing mental stuff. So I had, over the course of time, like things have changed over time, just trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. But over time, I've had a nutritionist that would come in every week and do a live. I had a naturopathic doctor who would come in and do a live. I had a therapist who would come in and do a live.
Okay.
And so, anyways, for me personally, and this won't be everybody's story, I had to separate my why and figure out exactly what my why was. Now that might apply to everyone. Understanding what your why is. But I think that you definitely have to draw a line in the sand, and there has to be a separation from what you do in your personal life and what you do in your business life, because the two are not the same. I would never hire a family member because I don't see how that ever works out for people. And to me, that is meshing business with personal. It's just like selling to your friends. And for whatever reason, they don't want to pay you what you're worth. They want to give you well, can I get it? No, no, you cannot.
Right.
So I think that the lesson is that you have to make a clear separation between your personal life and your business life if you're going to be successful in either.
I love it. I love it. That's gonna kind of play into my next question, because you're talking about things that have to do with long term. So where would you like to see yourself in Vegan Soul Sisters? In 1 year, in 3 years, and then in 10 years?
This one is a hard one.
One of my favorites.
It's it's a hard one. If you would have asked me, things are different in my mind in this post-COVID world, and I don't think that I figured it out yet. I'll give you the pre-COVID world response, and that would be a year I saw, a year from last year, I saw retreats definitely those 3 retreats, maybe 4, happening every year, same time. Collard greens and cornbread, a wellness experience everywhere. I saw myself having ambassadors in each. I have 50,000 women in my group, and they're all over the world. So I saw myself having ambassadors all over the world and being able to travel to those places and have meet and greets and sit downs with women and bring along women in those areas who were naturopathic doctors and therapists and nutritionists, so that we're giving a full, well-rounded experience to people. And 3 years from that point, I saw more books, and definitely the continuation of those retreats. 10 years? How old am I? 43, 53, 10 years. Managing all of that, but maybe a little bit distantly. Having other people stand up and take a bigger role in things, but obviously still, controlling every aspect of it. But having the opportunity to enjoy life at that point. I'll be 53. I don't think I'll want to work as hard at 53. But more books. Definitely more books. Yeah.
I think that's a fair goal. And just because it's a pandemic, I know it may throw a wrench in it. It may benefit you, because one thing that I've noticed about the pandemic is people are itching always to go outside. And so with not being able to attend this event, when it does come to fruition, I'm pretty confident it will pop. I think it will do quite well, especially with the following, because I spied your page for a while. I got in and I just went through it and just checked the interaction, the views, the comments. People are really for you. Like, you really have a following, like, for real.
Well, yeah, you have no idea, because even like some of the things that I've gone through personally, and I'm a pretty candid and open person. I would have women message me with just encouraging messages. I had one woman start a GoFundMe for me a few years ago, and they gave. And it was a lesson. It taught me a thing. About business. To be a good entrepreneur, you want people to buy into you. I do a lot of things. I sell shirts. I have a bunch of different designs. I have a book. I have things. I sell vegan makeup. People are bought into me, not the things that I have that I can sell them. They're bought into my vision. They know, especially my longtime members, that there are things that what I stand for and things that I don't stand for. They know that I'm going to come to bat for them when it comes to certain things. They know what to expect from me. So much so that the group kind of runs itself. Women will come in and be like, "Oh no, Mama T wouldn't. that ain't it." And so, a lot of times I don't even have to come in and say anything because they got a handle. I have 10 admins, I think, right now. And I've taken a lot of breaks over the past 2 years just to kind of work on my own mental health. And I'm grateful because these women run my group. They run it. Like, they run the group. I step in every now and again just to kind of make sure that things are cohesive. But I take all my breaks, and probably some I don't need to take. But that's the thing that I learned. If you are a person of integrity, You have a message. People buy into you. It isn't the product itself.
I love it.
It's
I love it. When you,
you, especially when it comes to small businesses.
I love it because when you're, like I said, when you're genuine and your motives are clear, people respect it. So kudos to you. Kudos to you. And
Thank you.
here's to 20 more admins because you'll have like 100,000 follows, and you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, maybe one day I might be an admin. You never know, you know, maybe not. Cause I ain't
Listen,
trying to.
you cannot join the women's group, but I
Right.
do have a co-ed group, Vegan Soul Sisters, and the men who love them.
Okay. That's me all day. I'll put
Yeah,
my
you can
application
slide
in
through
ASAP.
there.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'll handle that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Miss Tamera, if anyone wanted to get in contact with you, what would be the best means of contact?
My website, or they can reach out to me on any of the social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm getting there with my business page on TikTok, but it's Vegan Soul Sisters, vegansoulsisters.com, Vegan Soul Sisters on Instagram and on Facebook. And Sisters is SISTUHS.
That is. Love it. Love it. Well, Tamera, thank you so much again for doing this interview. This meant the world to me. I was really excited for this one all day. You know, you and I have been contacting back and forth, and it's been a pleasure. So thank you
Absolutely.
for telling your story with our audience. You know, people really love to hear those who are still persevering and, you know, following what they believe in. So kudos to you.
Thank you. This was nice. I appreciate you having me on your show. Thank you so much.
Hey, that's no problem. Well, with that being said, this has been your boy, Sirr, Miss Tamera, Vegan Soul Sisters. You know what I'm saying? Go find her on Facebook, find her on Instagram, shoot her an email, let her know she's doing great, because we all need those affirmations. You feel me? So with that being said, this is boy Sirr. We out.